Raising Ramses, archaeologists lift 3,000-year-old statue of Egyptian pharaoh considered one of the most important discoveries ever from muddy ditch in Cairo slum. This is the moment archaeologists lifted a 3,000-year-old statue of an Egyptian pharaoh considered one of the most important discoveries ever from a muddy ditch. Experts descended on the Souk al-Khamis district of the capital Cairo and used a crane to lift the 3-ton torso of the statue, which is believed to depict revered pharaoh Ramses II. The discovery, hailed by the Antiquities Ministry as one of the most important ever, was made near the ruins of Ramses II's temple in the ancient city of Heliopolis. Researchers from Egypt and Germany say the 26-feet statue probably depicts revered pharaoh Ramses II, who ruled Egypt more than 3,000 years ago. The first part of the colossus, a large portion of the head, was pulled up Thursday. The Ministry of Antiquities says the statue's parts would be assembled at the Egyptian Museum in central Cairo, where they would be pieced together and restored before being moved to the yet-to-open Grand Egyptian Museum near the Giza Pyramids. Ramses the Great was the most powerful and celebrated ruler of ancient Egypt. Known by his successors as the Great Ancestor, he led several military expeditions and expanded the Egyptian Empire to stretch from Syria in the east to Nubia in the south. He was the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty of Egypt and ruled from 1279 to 1213 BCE. Last Tuesday they called me to announce the big discovery of a colossus of a king, most probably Ramses II, made out of quartzite, Antiquities Minister Khaled Al-Anani told Reuters on Thursday at the site of the statue's unveiling. "We found the bust of the statue and the lower part of the head, and now we removed the head and we found the crown and the right ear and a fragment of the right eye," Anani said. Just days ago, archaeologists, officials, local residents, and members of the news media looked on as a massive forklift pulled the statue's head out of the water. The joint Egyptian-German expedition, which included the University of Leipzig, also found the upper part of a life-sized limestone statue of Pharaoh Seti II, Ramses II's grandson, which is 80 centimeters long. Archaeologists found the statue in the Matrya district, which is the site of the ancient capital of Heliopolis. The ruins of Heliopolis, which means City of the Sun in ancient Greek, are located in the northeastern part of modern-day Cairo. The Sun Temple in Heliopolis was founded by Ramses II, which increases the likelihood that the statue is him. Ancient Egyptians believed Heliopolis was the place where the sun god lives, meaning it was off-limits for any royal residences. It was one of the largest temples in Egypt, almost double the size of Luxor's Karnak, but was destroyed in Greco-Roman times. Many of its obelisks were moved to Alexandria or to Europe, and stones from the site were looted and used for building as Cairo developed. The fame of Ramses II, the third king of the 19th dynasty of ancient Egypt, is put down to his flair for self-publicity. He is remembered principally for the colossal statues he commissioned and for his massive building program. Dubbed Ramses the Great by the Egyptologists of the 19th century, his reign from 1279 to 1213 BC marked the last peak of Egypt's imperial power. He ascended the throne as the third king of the 19th dynasty at the age of 25. T.S. thought that during his 67-year reign, he built more temples and fathered more children than any other pharaoh. Ramses, born around 1303 BC, was appointed regent at 14 by his father Seti I. He had been made a captain of the army aged just 10. Becoming king in his early 20s, he expanded his empire, leading an army north to recover the lost provinces his father had failed permanently to conquer in modern-day Syria and Israel. In Kadesh, Syria, he was fed false information by 2 captured enemy spies, which saw Ramses II and his small corps of household troops surrounded by 2,500 enemy Hittite chariots. He was saved by reinforcements, and although he had failed to take Kadesh, the pharaoh had a long poem about his proud last stand carved on temple walls in Egypt. In Nubia, part of which is now in northern Sudan, Ramesses II built 6 temples, including Abu Simbel, whose image of his face cut into the rocky sides of the Nile Valley may have inspired the vast depictions of American presidents at Mount Rushmore. The king, who kept a harem of 100 women and had more than 100 children, dedicated Abu Simbel's smaller temple to his favorite queen, Nefertari. His building projects included the Great Hypostyle Hall, with its roof supported by columns, at Thebes, part of modern-day Luxor, and his own funerary temple, known as the Ramesseum, across the Nile from Luxor. He also built a city per Ramessu, also known as Pyranesus, northeast of Cairo, where he lived surrounded by gardens and orchards. Experts say he understood that visibility was central to the success of his reign, and built bombastic structures to project his strength as a leader. He founded a new capital, Pyramus, and built temples throughout Egypt and Nubia. The most famous of these buildings is the Abu Simbel, cut into rock, and the Ramesseum, his mortuary temple at Thebes. The tomb of his principal wife, Nefertari, is one of the best preserved royal tombs, and the resting place of some of his sons has recently been uncovered in the Valley of the Kings. Ramesses II lived to about 90. He was originally buried in the Valley of the Kings, but his mummy, which has the face of an old man with a long, narrow face, striking nose and large jaw, was moved to the nearby Deir el-Bahari to thwart looters. Still with its hair, some skin and teeth, it was rediscovered in 1881 and is kept in Cairo's Egyptian Museum. 9 subsequent pharaohs took the name Ramesses, as it was seen as an honor to be descended from him. The Sun Temple in Heliopolis was founded by Ramses II, which increases the likelihood the statue is of him, archaeologists say. It was one of the largest temples in Egypt, almost double the size of Luxor's Karnak, but was destroyed in Greco-Roman times. Many of its obelisks were moved to Alexandria or to Europe, and stones from the site were looted and used for building as Cairo developed. Experts will now attempt to extract the remaining pieces of both statues before restoring them. If they are successful and the colossus is proven to depict Ramses II, it will be moved to the entrance of the Grand Egyptian Museum, set to open in 2018. The discovery was made in the working-class area of Mataraya, among unfinished buildings and mud roads. Dietrich Rau, head of the expedition's German team, told Reuters that ancient Egyptians believed Heliopolis was the place where the sun god lives, meaning it was off-limits for any royal residences. The sun god created the world in Heliopolis, in Mataraya. That's what I always tell the people here when they say, is there anything important? According to the pharaonic belief, the world was created in Mataraya, Ra said. That means everything had to be built here. Statues, temples, obelisks, everything. But, the king never lived in Mataraya, because it was the sun god living here. The find could be a boon for Egypt's tourism industry, which has suffered many setbacks since the uprising that toppled autocrat Hosni Mubarak in 2011, but remains a vital source of foreign currency. The number of tourists visiting Egypt slumped to 9.8 million in 2011 from more than 14.7 million in 2010. A bomb attack that brought down a Russian plane carrying 224 people from a Red Sea resort in October 2015 further hit arrivals, which dropped to 1.2 million in the first quarter of 2016 from 2.2 million a year earlier.